from a man facing charges for violation of probation.
Well, you fell off the map in your probation, and then you didn't show up for the arraignment. And people with methamphetamine are struggling, and you're in a homeless situation.
To another caught driving without a valid license.
You don't have a license. You and I go back a long ways, since you were about 17 years old, and your record is all ancient history.
These cases show how Judge Middleton deals with offenders trapped in their own bad decisions. Starting with Mr. Curtis, a repeat offender who can't seem to follow the simplest probation rules. After getting caught with meth, he was given a second chance with a reduced charge, but instead of proving he could stay clean, he disappeared for months, ignored his probation, and only resurfaced after getting arrested again. Let's see how the judge handles this.
Good morning, Mr. Curtis. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Good morning. This is Judge Middleton. I'm at the courthouse. Also with me is Jeanette Jackson from the Public Defender's Office. Judge Patterson isn't available today, so they asked me to handle this. I want to get your case back on track.
All right.
You're Keith Michael Curtis II. The file number here is 24564FY. You were charged with felony, possession of methamphetamine. The matter was reduced to a misdemeanor charge of use of methamphetamine. You were placed on probation last April with Matt Huff as your probation officer. There was a probation violation arraignment set for January 6th, and you failed to appear. So Judge Patterson, I'm sorry, Judge Patterson issued a bench warrant for your arrest, and you got picked up. So let me take a look. Let's see where the PV petition is. How did you get arrested last night?
Well, I was with my boss, and he had called one of his friends and asked if he could use a trailer, and well, the trailer ended up being stolen. And I didn't know, I didn't know anything about it, but they ran my name, seeing I had a warrant, and that's what they picked me up.
Well, when you got picked up on this back in April of last year, you were mostly homeless.
Yeah.
Where are you living now?
Right now I stay at the Gospel Mission, but I work on, I've been doing volunteer work, helping my friend fix houses for like one of his friends.
Well, who's your boss?
His name is James.
Did he get arrested for the stolen trailer?
No, he got arrested because they didn't believe him when he gave them his name, and he didn't have a proof of identification.
Was that in Kalamazoo or here in St. Joe County?
It's Kalamazoo.
Okay. When did you get arrested?
Last night. Yesterday about 3:30 to be precise. Yeah, he's fine. I'm pretty sure he's already out on his way to Battle Creek. Go home.
Well, you fell off the map in your probation, which is why Judge Patterson issued the petition for an arraignment. And then you didn't show up for the arraignment. And people with methamphetamine are struggling, and you're in a homeless situation. But I'm going to show you plead not guilty.
I mean, I can do a drug test right now if you like. I don't have a problem with that. The only thing I'm going to drop dirty for is marijuana.
All right. Set a PV arraignment, or set a PV hearing before Judge Patterson. Well, I'm glad you'd be clean from that.
Yeah, me too. Is there any way I can get out today so I can get back to work?
A couple things. No, Judge Patterson isn't here to deal with this. B, you fell off the map. You weren't doing anything you were supposed to do on your probation. C, you got arrested last night in the wrong place at the wrong time. D, as a condition of your probation, you're not supposed to use marijuana or any controlled substance. So I'm going to hold on to you for now. Judge Patterson felt seriously enough about this to set a $7,500 bond. But you stopped reporting in October.
I had told Matt Huff what was going on. I was on felony probation in Kalamazoo. He told me to go to Kalamazoo. Please hear me, okay? He told me to go to Kalamazoo, and he would talk to Judge Patterson about getting my misdemeanor probation dropped, or get him like to where I could do just a felony probation. And not have
well, that makes some sense, and they will sort that out. But that didn't happen, and so you didn't have anybody's permission to just stop showing up. Are you on felony probation in Kalamazoo?
Yes, my probation officer's name is Sean Burgess.
Strong Burgess?
Sean, S-E-A-N. The only reason I stopped, Matt told me that I would more than likely end up with a bench warrant, but he said he was going to talk to Judge Patterson about getting my probation dropped, and I'll just be on felony probation.
All right, well, you had to at least show up for the hearing in order to do that, and you decided not to. So We'll set this for a hearing. I'll appoint an attorney for you. All right.
I had no clue
That's
about that.
because you stopped reporting. When you go on probation, you can't just go into the wind, so we can't get a hold of you. You stopped reporting in October, November, and December. So Matt filed a petition to set a hearing in January, and he doesn't have clairvoyance where he can know where you are. They sent a notice to the address that we had as your probation, and you didn't respond to it. And so then you're in somebody with a stolen trailer. You get arrested last night. So we're going to appoint a lawyer for you, set it for a hearing, probably next week when Judge Pattison gets back, and he can decide whether to amend the bond or not. But I don't disagree with you. There's no sense being on two probations. But for now, you're going to stay where you are. So, all right. Good luck, sir.
Now we have Ms. Cupp, another repeat offender facing serious felony charges for driving while intoxicated and causing serious injuries.
I have my name there on the bench. You're here at 3B District Court for an arraignment. The arraignment is the process where the judge tells you what you're charged with and asks you how you wish to plead to the charge. We're going to address some of these matters, and I'll explain a little bit as we go further. First person I'd like to talk to is Ashley Jean Cupp. Would you come right up to the podium, please? Right there. That's the podium. Where I sit here is called a bench. Are you Ashley Jean Cupp?
It's Angela.
Angela, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It says Angela right in front of me. I apologize. And on the complaint, it's alleged that on or about October 23rd in Leonidas Township, that you were in an accident causing a serious injury and that you had a previous drinking driving conviction. This thing is kind of screwy. Let me look at the complaint. Anyway, that is a felony if you have a serious injury and a prior conviction. It's a 10-year maximum felony, punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of up to $5,000, not less than $1,000, plus probation or rehabilitative programs. It's alleged that on that date that you injured your passenger, I believe Whitney Yoder. Although it doesn't show up on your driving record, it does show on your criminal record that you had a previous conviction from Kalamazoo County in 2019. Because this is a felony, I don't have jurisdiction to take your plea here this morning. I'm going to recommend that you plead not guilty, and I'm going to appoint an attorney to assist you with this. Do you have any objection to that?
Yes.
When you are charged with a felony, you're entitled to have what's called a preliminary examination. A preliminary examination is a hearing where it must be established that there's probable cause to believe a crime was committed and probable cause that you did it. And before they actually have that hearing, they have what's called a pre-exam conference. So we're going to set this for a pre-exam conference and a pre. So I'll show a plea of not guilty. I'm going to set a pre-exam conference for March 11th. That'll be at 8:30 in the morning. That's your next court hearing. And you're going to have a preliminary examination if needed for March 18th. It'll be at 1 o'clock. I'm going to appoint an attorney. I believe on the public defender schedule, it will be Mr. Ross Truckee. He lives close to where you live. He's a fine young lawyer. You'll enjoy meeting with him. You also have a right to hire an attorney of your own choosing. One of our people this morning hired a lawyer of their own choice, and that certainly is their right. But I want to make sure you have one, so I'm appointing Mr. Truckee. And if you decide you want to go in a different direction, you certainly can do that. I'm going to have the bailiff take you out to the court office, and we'll give you the paperwork with your attorney's name and number on it. Let me see, Jen, give me a pile of these. Yes. Anyway, I want you to call him and make an appointment to discuss this with him. I think maybe I knew you under a different name before Cupp.
Cupp's my maiden name.
All right. Were you a McClish?
At one point, yes.
Okay, maybe that's what, yeah. All right, so back to Cupp. All right, anyway, these are some serious charges, and it's important that you have legal representation. So you go with the court officer, and I will see you on Tuesday morning, March 11th at 8:30.
Thank you.
All right.
This time, let's watch how Judge Middleton handles offenders who blatantly disregard the law as if it doesn't apply to them, whether it's driving without a valid license or lack of insurance, from Mr. Ramirez here down to the others.
All right, next, let's talk to Leonel Ramirez Garcia. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You got charged with operating with no valid operator's license. Similar to the last case, but a little bit different. This is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days in jail, fine of up to $100. It carries no points. Excuse me, it carries 2 points. So it does not require that your license be suspended. You got a ticket at 12:46 a.m. M66 near M86. And it says you don't have a valid license. So let's take a look at your driving record. You don't have a license. So they didn't charge you with this one. They charged you with no valid ops. Same thing. The fine is generally $100 plus $125 in costs. Do you understand the charge?
Yeah. Yes.
How do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
You have nothing on your driving record. Did you ever have a license in another state?
No.
Wow. It doesn't show you've ever had a ticket in Michigan. How long have you been in Michigan?
About 10 years.
Oh my. Where were you going on this particular night?
I was picking up a friend at the gas station, and it was too cold, so
All right. Well, it was very cold in February. You understand that if you plead to this charge, you'll be giving up the rights on this advice of rights that you signed. There will be no trial and you won't have an attorney appointed.
yeah,
How come you never got a license?
I will try to.
All right. Well, this might hold you back a little bit. There's a judge on the other side of the state, Judge Meineke, that's got an intensive program to help people get their license back. We aren't quite that intensive about it, but this could affect your ability to get it. How'd you get here today?
Oh, I told a friend to get me here.
All right, let's make sure you didn't drive here. Yeah, you haven't had any sort of ticket. Okay. Same thing. Now, my advice, you managed to not get a ticket for this, as in forever. But if you keep driving, you'll end up paying a lot of money and you could end up in jail. And it'd be very hard for you then to get your license. I don't see any reason in here why you couldn't get a license. Do you have any medical issues like vision or that sort of thing that would probably?
No.
Yeah, that's issue.
Oh, excuse me. Do you have lawful residency status? All right, we'll just leave it. You can't get a license unless you have that. So that puts you between the proverbial rock and a hard place. All right, the fine's $100 and $125 of cost. That is due. If you can pay it now, great. Otherwise, you can have 30 days or more if you need it. Can you pay it now?
How much do you say?
$225.
220.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pay it now?
Yep.
All right, very good.
Deputy Tyler's working this week.
All right. I think he's telling me the truth, but I hope so. They're watching the video and make sure you didn't drive in here. If you did, we're gonna have another little discussion here before you go, if you go. But if you didn't drive here, then you're good. Bail will take you out to the court office, you can pay the fine, and you stop driving until you get squared away here. Oh, you're good to go. There's lots of guys like him who have been here for years, staying under the radar, but
He's been here about 30 years.
not any even ticket or anything, but he doesn't have lawful residency status. He's not gonna get deported for that, but those folks are walking on eggshells. Shelby McNamee,
Your Honor, yeah, prosecutor is reducing this to a civil infraction. She did present proof.
very good. What about the registration plate? They're dismissing that. You got that too? All right. Who'd you talk to?
Josh,
Okay.
that'll be fine.
All right, Ms. McNamee, I'm going to give you a little bit of a civics lesson here. Driving without insurance, and this is file 25153. We have a ton of it. It's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to a year in jail. Carries a fine of not less than $200 and not more than $500. So the minimum fine for this is $325. Also requires that you get fingerprinted. You're also charged with driving without a valid registration plate, which is a civil infraction, which carries a fine of $120. You've established,
I already paid the 100.
oh, you
for the
paid it?
ticket.
All right. Okay. Then, so that's a serious charge. And if you get in an accident, you're not covered by no-fault insurance. I've had some cases recently where people didn't have insurance, they got in an accident, and they got sued for $25,000. So there's that. But what we really want people to do is get insurance and get a registration. So you showed me the registration. You've also established that you have insurance. The prosecutor, almost always, when the people come in and prove they have insurance, dismiss this charge. And then they change it to something called no proof of insurance. That's a civil infraction. A misdemeanor is punishable theoretically by up to 90 days in jail. If it's anything more, up to a year in jail. Not all misdemeanors are up to a year in jail, but the maximum allowable sentence for a misdemeanor is a year in jail. If it's a year and 1 day, it becomes a felony. There's something less than a misdemeanor, and that's called a civil infraction. That's not a crime. It's a civil wrong that can result in a fine only, like running a stop sign or speeding or leaving your trash out, or those sorts of things are civil infractions. So they've agreed to reduce this to the civil infraction of no proof of insurance. That means you didn't have the little slip in the car. Do you understand? You have to say yes or no.
Yes.
All right. And when you plead to a civil infraction, you don't plead guilty or not guilty. You simply admit. So do you admit that you didn't have proper insurance on the day you got this ticket, January 27th?
Yes.
But you got it squared away since.
Yes.
You live on Oak Park Road
Yes.
off M60?
Yeah.
Dead ends back there. How long have you lived there?
My entire life.
All right. I don't know. McNamee's back there. What do you do, ma'am?
I work at ISU Minden.
All right. Well, good. You're squared away. You paid your other fine. You got your insurance. What shift are you on?
First shift.
So you're missing work right now?
Mhm.
All right, let's get you back to work. All right, fine and cost is $150 under the fee schedule for no proof of insurance. And civil infractions are due in 30 days. If you pay it right now, she'll take you down and pay it. If you need 30 days, I'll give you that.
I can pay it now.
All right, everybody's paying today. Very good.
Sir,
Yes,
he did not try to get out of the passenger seat.
very good. I thought he was being truthful. Um, All right, Ms. McNamee, I'm guessing that I won't see you much, as in maybe never. This was expensive. You had to miss work. You're squared away now. You didn't have anything else on your record. So you go pay that fine and good luck to you.
Unlike in Mr. Ramirez's case, Ms. Asovich here is charged not only with operating a vehicle at an alarmingly high blood alcohol level, but also with underage drinking and impeding traffic.
Good morning. Are you Ashley Askovich?
Yes.
This is file 25283SD. Ms. Askovich, you've been charged with operating a motor vehicle with a high blood alcohol level. Although I can't, Sarissa, tell too much about this because all it's in it is a ticket. But it's alleged that at about 11 o'clock at night on February 15th, you were at US 131 and King RDT. I'm not sure where that is.
That can't be true, Your Honor. You know every road in this county.
I do, but I didn't think King Road intersected 131 in Fabius Township. Anyway, you were on 131 someplace where we get a lot of our cases. How old are you now?
20.
All right, so you're not, they also charge you with being a minor, possessing and consuming alcohol and impeding traffic. So it looks like maybe there was some sort of an accident. I can't tell what your blood alcohol level was. Over 0.17 becomes this charge. That's a misdemeanor. It's punishable by up to 6 months in jail, fine of up to $750. Carries 6 points on your driving record and it requires that your license be suspended. Excuse me. This could go several different ways, but you've taken the step of hiring an attorney that does these kinds of cases. So we're going to show you're pleading not guilty. I saw your partner, Mr. Marcoux, at the drug court conference, treatment court conference.
Yes,
Mike
he
Hills
saw.
was there. Tazi was there, a number of Kalamazoo judges. But I'm always impressed when the private counsel take time out of their billable hours to participate in a conference like that. So it was nice to see you and Mike there. Anyway, Ms. Askovich, what we're going to do is set a pretrial conference in this matter. The next one is set for March 7th, and that's too soon. It's just next Friday. So, Ms. Montauk, we're looking at Friday, April 4th.
Your Honor, thank you for asking. That should be fine, Your Honor.
And that would be at 8:30.
That's fine, thank you.
Now, what's going to happen is your attorney's going to get all the police reports. I'm not sure they're even all done, but was there a blood draw here, or was this a breath test?
Both.
Breath and blood? Okay.
It was a PBT on the side of the road, Your Honor, and then it was blood draw.
They may be waiting for the blood result. I did learn, we had a lot of statistics given to us. About 1 million drunk driving arrests a year. 80% of them are men.
Really?
And that's the statistic we got yesterday, although our local stats may be a little more tilted. We'll see.
That's not my experience, I can tell you at all.
Well, these are nationwide.
Right.
66% of the people get arrested just once. It's the other 33% that tend to cause us problems that end up in our treatment courts. 66% of the people arrested for drunk driving once was enough.
Should
Again,
be.
nationally. And 33% have multiples. They took a show of hands. How many priors have you had as a judge? Have you had more than 3, more than 5? I think my record is 11. One judge had 19, a defendant with 19 previous offenses, but those went back like into the 50s and 60s where, anyway.
You know over how long of a time they were looking to see if they got a second DUI?
I don't know, probably their whole life. We used to have paper driving records. Miss Jackson can remember this, and they'd unfold, and the longer the driving record was, the longer the paper was. They used to let it roll down off the bench. I did have a guy that had about 30 driving suspended charges. But at any rate, we're going to set this for a attorney pretrial for Friday, April 4th at 8:30. So it's important that you stay in contact with your attorney. She'll get the police report. She'll discuss this case with the prosecutor. I don't know any of the facts because I'm not really supposed to at this point. So you got some driving statistics that maybe you didn't ask for, but they're fresh in my head because I just had a session on yesterday morning. All right, Miss Askovich, I guess I don't need to send you out. You'll just get your notice.
I have your arraignment paper, sir.
Unlike in Mr. Ramirez's case, Ms. Asovich here is charged not only with operating a vehicle at an alarmingly high blood alcohol level, but also with underage drinking and impeding traffic.
You're Jeffrey John Winnicky?
Yes.
Of course, I know you, but I had to identify you for the record. This is 25287ST. Mr. Winnicky, they charged you with, this is sometimes called no operator's license ever acquired. It's a form of driving suspended. It's a little bit different. It's under the same section, 257904, which is where driving suspended is found. No operator's license is found at 257301. But let's take a look at this. You got a ticket at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on February 3rd, Wakeman Road and River Run Road out in the country. You live at the trailer park over on 14th Street?
In Three Rivers.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, you got stopped out here sometimes and they charge you with no ops ever acquired. That is a misdemeanor. Apparently you missed it earlier date, but you're here today. As I told you, it's punishable by a fine of up to, the way this one is my recollection, it's punishable by up to 93 days in jail and a fine of up to $500. You don't have a license, so they charge you with no license ever acquired. You do have a Michigan ID. You and I go back a long ways. since you were about 17 years old. And your record is all ancient history. You've got a couple of no opses in the last few years, but basically it just shows you don't have a license. Normal fine for this is $100 plus $125 in costs. How do you plead to the allegation that you were driving a car out at that time?
Guilty.
Anybody threaten you to get you to plead to this?
No,
Promise you anything?
no.
You're giving up all the rights, including the right to have an attorney, by entering this plea. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And you sign the advice of rights. Let me find it. All right, where were you going?
I went and got my kids from school. They go to Mendon School.
Well, you were out in the boondocks, Wakeman Road and.
Well, it'd be, off of Bayer. I usually just go to River Road here.
Okay,
And then I'll be right there by the trailer park.
all right, your kids go to, so how do they normally get back and forth to school?
They used to have a van that came and picked them up and dropped them off, but now they drop that there, and that's strictly for homeless people.
Well, I haven't seen you in a long time, which is probably good for you and for me, but you're stuck without a license. Now you, at some point, may be able to get one back. I don't know what you need to do to get it back. Have you looked into that?
Yeah, I haven't been able to find out where I can get a copy of my birth certificate.
Where were you born?
I was supposed to be born in Allegan, and I went there and they have no records. Neither does Lansing.
Well, you have a Michigan ID, so you must have had some identification at some point.
Yeah, but
I thought you were born here. Didn't your parents already live here by the time you were born?
well, in Allegan,
In Allegan.
yeah. They don't have any records on me there. They don't have any for Lansing. Indiana went and tried getting over there. No.
Well, again, you have a Michigan ID and you have a social security card, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I can't help you there. I don't know what to say about it. Anyway, the fine's $100, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee, $225. Are you working any place?
No, but we can pay it off
Can you
today.
pay? Oh, today?
Yeah.
Well, that'll be great. All right. I can't help you. I know you were born because I've known you since you were a kid, but I don't know what to tell you about getting an ID. Did you ever check here?
Yeah, but the only way they'll go and let me get an ID is if I have a copy of my birth.
But you have an ID, don't you?
Yeah, but it's too expired,
Oh,
more than 10 years.
Do you have internet?
Hmm.
Do you have internet?
Mhm.
Try the National Archives. They have all kinds of documents. It's in the top. And you'd have to search for it.
it shows.
Just try that and see if you can.
You write that down.
Know the answer to that. Your mother didn't always follow all the rules, but I would have thought she would have got you a birth certificate. All right, you can go out and pay this and you're good to go. Thank you.